A submarine mountain range, stretching from Cuba in the south to the Gulf of Honduras in the north. Formed by forces between the North American and Caribbean tectonic plates. And where these forces pushed the limestone and dolostone upwards above sea level, they gave us the island we call Grand Cayman. Carbonates make up the top layer of the island, formed by shells and corals laid down during changes in the sea level. We find no rivers or streams here. The porous limestone excludes the runoff of any sediment, leaving the waters crystal clear. And resulting in the most luscious tropical surroundings. While relatively few species dwell upon these harsh iron-shore coastlines, there's one place where life truly thrives. Mangroves. These extremely resilient trees occupy 36% of Grand Cayman's landmass, dominating the coastline. Unique adaptations allow the mangroves to survive under very adverse conditions. They have the extraordinary ability to live in water that has a salinity 100 times higher than most plants can tolerate. This is thanks to their extremely permeable leaves that act as an ultra-filtration system. They provide a safe haven for a huge variety of species. One among them, the Aratus pisoni, more commonly known as the mangrove tree crab. Life thrives both above and below. Mangroves have the highest aquatic biological diversity in the world. Their tangled roots provide a perfect sheltered nursery for juvenile fish. One-third of tropical coastline globally is composed of mangroves. However, in the space of 30 years, the mangrove coverage in Grand Cayman has decreased by over 70%. The disappearance of Grand Cayman's natural ecosystems has been felt most strongly by a species found nowhere else on Earth. These prehistoric-looking reptiles once roamed in great numbers. But a census conducted in 2003 revealed that the wild population had plummeted to as few as 25, leaving them on the very brink of extinction. As humans began to colonize the island, great swathes of virgin land were cleared for agriculture, roads and urban development, resulting in severe natural habitat loss. These are among the largest lizards found in the Western Hemisphere. measuring over 1.5 meters from head to tail. This is the blue iguana.
My name is Alberto. I've been with this program for a little over 10 years. Peter has been with us for many years. He's still pretty young, and he's part of us here, believe me. You know, we love him, all the wardens here, and this is what we do here. And believe me, it's part of our life, huh? Before humans came here, there were a lot of these animals on this island. And then first settlers came to these islands and they brought cats, dogs, rats. They started clearing the land, building, burning. So these animals almost disappeared, almost vanished from here. According to scientists, one of the reasons they almost vanish is they don't produce a lot of eggs, but not having predators. They were classified as critical endangered species. Now we classify these animals as just endangered species. We want to keep it this way because this is what we have, and this is what this island needs here. You know, they make our island good. You know, these beautiful animals. Thanks to this program, they came back slowly, but we have done a great job with these animals.
Grand Cayman's coastlines are perilous and uninviting, but the creatures here have adapted to live in harmony with the terrain. The Sally Lightfoot crab. These crabs, which are no bigger than your hand, use the small holes peppering the rugged iron shore to afford the grip needed to withstand the waves. Sally Lightfoot crabs roam the jagged rocks, feeding on the few nutrients provided by the field algae that has accumulated on them. Living in such perilous terrain, it's hard to imagine these crabs have many predators. When not feeding, the crab chooses to hide in the shelter of the rocks. A lava heron. But lava herons have exceptional eyesight, and this heron has spotted a potential meal. Being able to run in all directions, these crabs make tricky targets for a single predator. This crab has no choice but to run. It must navigate the terrain among the surging waves. A single lava heron eats up to 15 lightfoot crabs per day, meaning this drama is constantly playing out along the coastlines. With the extent of urbanization, it's hard to imagine how wildlife can continue to coexist. But in the dead of night, lizards and frogs use the artificial lighting to their advantage. A bark scorpion, although this one is deceased. Ants have discovered the body. They will search the scorpion for parts they can remove, taking their findings back to their nests to feed the colony. Morning breaks over the mangroves. Where calm waters meet sandy beaches. Surrounded by mangroves, life thrives in abundance. Varieties of damselfish and snappers drift in schools. Upside-down jellyfish feed on plankton and any organisms that sink to the sea floor. The sheer diversity of life here is an incredible testament to the nurture provided by the mangroves. Within the shallows, among the complex tangle of roots, lurks an intriguing, alien-like life form. The Caribbean sea hare. They feed predominantly on intertidal red algae and have a very thin shell inside their bodies that contains their gill and heart. Toxins are contained within their leathery skin, ensuring an inedible meal for most. The green iguanas. This invasive species is believed to have been introduced as pets by early settlers. Before long, their population exploded, contributing to the near extinction of blue iguanas as they drained their resources. But a more direct threat to the blue iguana is the Cayman racer snake, which preys upon the lizard's hatchlings. As long as these threats remain, the blue iguana's survival is at risk.
In 1990, to help the species recover, this conservation facility called Blue Iguana Conservation was started, and the 25 blue iguanas that we knew about in the wild were brought into the facility here. We did a whole genetic workup on them and started breeding them. Since 1990, when the program started, we have since then released 1,000 new blue iguanas into the wild here on Grand Cayman. That wild population is now breeding successfully, and we estimate in the past 29 years since the program was started that we have gone from 25 blue iguanas to now 1,200. These guys were once the largest land animal on the island. That was way before people settled here and people started coming to the island. These guys ruled the land. They were the largest, and unfortunately now they're not. These guys only have one natural predator, which are the Cayman racer snakes, which can only predate on them up until the iguanas are 1 year old. After that, they have no natural predators. Also, some threats that they're facing are habitat development and roads. So a lot of these guys, they'll go out onto the roads to sun and get that heat that they need because they're cold-blooded, and unfortunately people don't see them, or people are driving too fast and they get run over. Cats and dogs, though, are their main threat in their natural habitat, so out in the bush, cats and dogs will predate on these guys, and unfortunately that is what caused the drastic decrease in the population and why the recovery program was needed in the first place.
It's lunchtime at Blue Iguana Conservation. The inhabitants are fed tropical fruits full of crucial nutrients, a variety of fresh leaves, and their favourite, flower petals. On average, the Cayman Islands are hit by hurricanes every 10 years. Luckily, the mangroves help to protect this small island as a natural defence against the storms. These trees have complex root systems which help stabilise the coastline, shielding developments from flooding and coastal erosion. The web of roots and leaves disperses the power of stormy waves and diminishes their energy. Per 100 square metres of these trees, wave height can be reduced by up to 66%. Mangroves are also unmatched in their ability to store carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. These factors make mangroves an elemental tool to moderate the effects of climate change. It's morning on the island, and a specialist team of scientists and volunteers gathers to conduct a critical survey on the blue iguanas that have been released into the wild. The team is briefed by Fred Burton.
Survey the iguanas when they're actually hot and active, and first thing in the morning when they're warming up, they're really sensitive to disturbance, so they're in that sort of like fragile period when they're not really warm and ready to go. So the whole idea is to wait till that phase is over, until everything's hot. They're right up to their body temperature. They like to be 100 degrees Fahrenheit, their internal body temperature. They like to be hot. And then they start moving around and they get away from their retreats. So when we survey the trails, then we've got a pretty random probability of encountering any particular iguana, and that's the kind of structure we want for this survey.
This whole area is undisclosed to the public to protect the blue iguanas from potential poaching. The team must now head out through their allocated transects. This is perhaps one of the island's more extreme habitats. Riddled with large cacti, thorns, and potentially dangerous plants. The majority of the terrain in the reserve consists of ironshore, with unsettling gashes and large fissures. These act as the wild blue iguana's main source of water, though they make for precarious obstacles. The team must stay vigilant. Once a wild blue iguana has been spotted, it tends to bolt out of sight. The team measures the distance from the path to the iguana sighting, counts their numbers, and locks their GPS tag. They continue to do this until every transect on the reserve has been surveyed. The data collected gives scientists crucial insights into the rate and extent of the blue iguana's recovery. Perhaps one of the most successful animals on Grand Cayman is the wild chicken. Their presence on the island is unmissable. Chickens are a subspecies of red junglefowl and are omnivores. They will eat seeds and insects, but occasionally larger prey like small mice and lizards. This footage is so rare that it is beneficial for scientific logs and records regarding the blue iguana. In the depths of Grand Cayman's tropical forests, a deadly creature thrives, attracted by large pools of still water. The mosquito. Killing a staggering 1 million people per year, it is the deadliest animal in the world. It was found that the numbers of mosquito larvae were reduced by 99% in only 5 weeks, when terrapins were placed in experimental enclosures, making them a key player in bringing the mosquito population under control. Research is underway into whether mosquitoes have been transferring diseases between green and blue iguanas. It is feared that the ever-changing climate will affect mosquitoes' distribution, allowing them to bring devastating plagues to new populations. Mangroves require stable conditions, and even slight environmental changes can have drastic effects. Reductions in the amount of water reaching further inland due to rising temperatures can wipe out entire sections. If pools of seawater suffer excessive evaporation, then the salinity becomes too high even for mangroves to survive. Compounded by clearing for agriculture and settlements, have led to the loss of more than 35% of the world's mangroves. Sites like this may offer a glimpse of what the possible future holds.
Without the work of blue iguana conservation, this species would be undoubtedly extinct.
Thanks to this program, they came back.
It is unquestionable that bringing these iguanas back from the brink of extinction is a remarkable feat. The intervention of a few incredible people has given this species a fighting chance. None of this would have been possible were it not for our interest in these spectacles. The first step towards securing the natural world's fate is taken by simply caring for it. Within nature, there is so much to explore. By journeying out amongst the waves to see what wonders await, to see animals perhaps you have never before encountered, and making a pledge to protect them. Conserving species is crucial for humans. Ensuring a well-balanced ecosystem, clean air to breathe, and a healthy earth to support the sheer diversity of life. There is so much beauty upon this earth. Ultimately, it is up to us to decide how much of it we leave behind.